Welcome to the IELTS reading lesson. Today we will study IELTS 20 Test 3 Passage 1, Frozen Food. This passage has 13 questions. The first 7 are note completion questions, and the last 6 are true/false/not given questions. Let's divide the questions into 3 categories: synonym replacement, logical comparison, and keyword location. Knowing the categories helps you find the solution quickly. Note completion uses keywords, true/false/not given uses logic. The passage has 11 paragraphs. It is an expository text about the development of frozen food. From passage 1 to 3, early freezing methods and the invention of mechanical ice. From passage 4 to 5, improvements in freezing technology and the beginning of modern frozen food. From passage 6 to 9, Birdseye's innovations and the popularization of frozen food. Heat map shows, note completion questions focus on passage 1 to 9, true/false/not given questions focus on passage 4 to 11. Next is the note completion for Q1-7. One-word limit, mostly extracted directly from the text. Let's look at question 1. It asks what the inhabitants preserved. The answer is potatoes. The clue words are conserving and for later consumption. Locate paragraph 1 and find conserving potatoes. The original text directly gives conserving potatoes, so the answer word is potatoes. So the answer to question 1 is potatoes. Let's look at question 2. It asks what was kept cold during the 1851 railroad transport. The blank comes after send and before from, to, so we need a noun here. Let's locate paragraph 2 and find the description about the 1851 railroad transport. The original text says, to send butter, so the item being sent is butter. This word is directly given in the text. So the answer to question 2 is butter. Let's look at question 3. It says in 1880, a shipment of Australian beef and mutton was sent frozen to England. The blank is after export, so we need a noun. The clue words are beef and mutton. They are 2 specific types of meat. The question asks for a general category, so the answer should be a general word. Let's locate paragraph 4. The text says if they could put this new invention on a ship, they could export meat across the oceans. The original text directly gives export meat. Meat is the general category for beef and mutton. This answer word is directly given, no replacement needed. So the answer to question 3 is meat. Let's look at question 4. Birdseye's quick freezing method reduced damage from what? The answer is crystals. The word that before the blank tells us we need a noun, and it should be plural. Let's go to paragraph 7 and look for words related to quick freezing and damage. The text says reduced the damage that crystals caused. Crystals is the word we need. This word is directly given in the original text, no replacement needed. So the answer to question 4 is crystals. Let's look at question 5. It asks what material Birdseye introduced for packaging food so consumers could see the product. The blank is after use of and before a comma, so we need a noun. Go to paragraph 7 and look for words related to transparent material and packaging. The text says he also introduced the use of cellophane, the first transparent material for food packaging. The answer cellophane is directly given. So the answer to question 5 is cellophane. Let's look at question 6. It asks what was in short supply, which limited canned food and made frozen food popular. The blank is after because, so we need a noun that explains the reason. Go to paragraph 9. The beginning mentions World War II and tin. The text says tin was being used for munitions, so canned food had to save tin. The thing in short supply is tin. So the answer to question 6 is tin. Let's look at question 7. The question asks what many families owned in the 1950s. The blank comes after ownda. The clue words are 1950s and ownda. The blank needs a singular noun. Let's go to paragraph 9. We see the words by the 1950s and 33 million U.S. families owned. The original text says 33 million U.S. families owned a refrigerator. This word is directly given in the text, no replacement needed. So the answer to question 7 is refrigerator. Let's look at question 8. This question says the ice transportation business made some Boston ship owners very wealthy in the early 1800s. Key clue words in this statement: ice transportation business, Boston ship owners, became wealthy. Locate to paragraph 2. The scanning landmark words in the text are: ship owners from Boston had enormous blocks of Arctic ice towed. The original text says, in the early 1800s, ship owners from Boston, USA, had enormous blocks of Arctic ice towed all over the Atlantic for the purpose of food preservation. The text mentions Boston ship owners transporting ice, but it does not mention at all whether they became wealthy from it. The phrase, became very wealthy in the statement is information not found in the text. This is a case of missing information, not a contradiction, so it is not false. So the answer to question 8 is not given. Let's look at question 9. A disadvantage of the freezing process invented in Australia was that it affected the taste of food. The key clue in the question is affected the taste of food. We locate paragraph 4 and look for descriptions about the taste of food. The text says this spoilt the flavor and texture of the food. The original phrase is spoilt the flavor. The question says affected the taste, and the text says spoilt the flavor. These are synonyms, both meaning the taste was damaged. So the statement is correct. So the answer to question 9 is true. Let's look at question 10. Clarence Birdseye traveled to Labrador in order to learn how the Inuit people froze fish. Key clue: traveled to Labrador in order to learn. Purpose. Locate paragraph 5. Scan landmark: ran out of money, had no money. The original text says, ran out of money and went to Labrador in Canada to trap and trade furs. The question says the purpose was to learn, but the text says the purpose was to trap and trade furs. These directly contradict each other. This is a reverse paraphrase. So the answer to question 10 is false. Let's look at question 11. The statement says Swanson Foods invested a lot of money in promoting the TV dinner. The key clue words are invested a great deal of money and promotion. Let's locate paragraph 10 and look for a unique word related to a lot of money. The original text uses the phrase a huge advertising budget. The statement invested a great deal of money in promotion is a direct synonym of a huge advertising budget in the text. So the answer to question 11 is true. Let's look at question 12. Swanson Foods developed a new style of container for the launch of the TV dinner. Please pause the video and try it yourself first. The key clue in the question is a new style of container. Let's locate paragraph 10 and look for information about the container. The scanning landmark in the text is segmented aluminum tray. The original text says, the same segmented aluminum tray that was used by airlines. Pay attention to the word same. The question says developed a new style of container, but the text says it was the same tray used by airlines. This is a direct contradiction, a clear case of opposite meaning. So the answer to question 12 is false. Let's look at question 13. The U.S. frozen food industry is currently the largest in the world. Key clue words: currently the largest in the world. Locate paragraph 11. Scan for landmark word, turnover of over $67 billion. The original text says, has a turnover of over $67 billion annually. The statement says currently the largest in the world, but the text only gives US data, with no comparison to other countries. So it's not false, it's not given. So the answer to question 13 is not given. Now let's review the 3 common traps we found in this passage. Trap 1, opposite meaning. The question says the opposite of the text. For example, Q10 and Q12, the question says one thing, but the text says the opposite. Trap 2, wrong subject. The question changes the subject from the text. For Q10, the text says A affects B, but the question says C affects B. The subject is different. Trap 3, not mentioned. The text does not talk about what the question says. For Q8 and Q13, the text does not discuss the information in the question. Remember, When you see absolute words like first or only, check the text carefully first. Now let's summarize the key vocabulary and paraphrases from this passage. Cue 9, affected the taste in the question means spoilt the flavor and texture in the text. Cue 11, invested a lot in promotion means a huge advertising budget in the text. Keywords for the completion questions: potatoes, butter, meat, crystals, cellophane, tin, refrigerator. That's all for this passage. Thank you for watching and keep practicing.